Hello and welcome to Arrowhead Allies, coming off yet another loss for the Kansas City Chiefs as the Chiefs fall to 6-7 on the season. We thought maybe we would have just a little more upbeat, a little more positive show here with our good friend and our guest here this week. It is Joe Theismann, former NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion, is joining us, and we're going to get into all the things Chiefs and non-Chiefs related. Joe, welcome to the show. How's everything going? It's good to see you here. It's something about the holidays and Christmas coming up. It's just good to see you. You just brighten my holiday spirit.
After last night, I'm sure there aren't a lot of things out there that can brighten you, but I'm flattered that you say that. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you. And we got a little better in the looks department, Joe. I don't know if you noticed here on the show, Milena Caitlin Barrett on the show now. She actually did a commercial with you in Japan. She was a Chiefs cheerleader back in the day in 1998, and you guys did a commercial together.
Gosh, that's unbelievable.
Isn't that funny? Like almost 30 years ago.
You haven't changed a bit.
Oh, neither have you.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, that was an incredible experience. It was Lamar Hunt's birthday party. And as a matter of fact, we were broadcasting at that time, ESPN, which I was at. We were broadcasting preseason games overseas. As a matter of fact, it was one of 13 trips that I made to Tokyo. And for the games and stuff. But yeah, Mr. Hunt was so wonderful to me and was an inspiration to me as some of the things I collect. You know, he was a great collector of unique games like the Rock'em Sock'em things. And he had his apartment was at the stadium, and he was kind enough to share some of those things with me. And some of the collectibles that I have were an inspiration because of Mr. Hunt.
Yeah, that's incredible and wonderful to reflect back on that and what a great owner he was. And Joe just coming in here, of course, we're fresh off. We're right out of the intro here, so we're getting everybody in, and people are probably a little angry coming in here, thinking about the things that have happened, and just want to get your initial thoughts here as the Chiefs are now 6-7, playoffs on absolute life support, and that might even be too much credit to give the Chiefs right now. Life support is probably not even accurate right now, but just your initial thoughts on where this is and where this Chiefs season is and kind of how we got here.
It's sort of a one or two play situation when it comes to the Chiefs. There's two or three plays in a game that you can look at for the Chiefs that decide whether they keep drives alive and have an opportunity to win, or they drop the football, which they've done a lot lately, and really hurt themselves from the chance to win. I mean, the pass to Hunt going out of the backfield, that would have been a first down. Rashid, again this week. Travis, again this week. It's just you expect more. I think what the fans of the Chiefs are, of which I am, you just don't expect to see those things happen. It's like when you watch Steph Curry shoot a three, you expect it to go in. When you see the ball thrown to these guys, you expect them to catch them. It's expectations that basically through their skill level, they have created for us, the fans. And when it doesn't happen, it affects the entire football team because that's the direction you want to go in. I have to tell you, last night, I've watched Patrick for years. I think he's the best quarterback in football. And, people can argue with Josh about it, but I'm going to take Patrick. But he was a warrior last night. I mean, he does everything he possibly can, as do, a few others in this league. But he put everything he had in his heart and soul last night. And I'm sure I expect it over the next 4 weeks as well. If you can run the table, there's always that outside chance that somebody's going to stub their toe.
Absolutely, Joe. And just talking about that, and you kind of touched on it there, you would take Patrick over anybody else in the NFL, but he did have a 19 QBR. He did have 3 interceptions. He was under 50% completion percentage. A lot of his passes, well, some of his passes were underthrown to Hollywood Brown, maybe behind Rashid, a little bit behind on the shoulder pad to Kareem Hunt, behind on Kelsey on the one that ended up getting intercepted at the end of the game. What do you make of that in his season and kind of his play last night? And do you think he's having a little bit of a dip these past couple of years?
Yeah, it's been different for him. I mean, you look at a lot of guys, a lot of receivers make catches when the ball's not hitting him in the chest or hitting him in the face, as one did last night we saw. I just think that, you're going to go through those ebbs and flows as a quarterback. Some days, I've said this before, you can knock an ant off an elephant's rear end. That's how accurate you can be. Then on the other side, you need guys to make plays for you. Yeah, you've heard me say this time and time again. The quarterback position is the single most dependent position on the field. If the line doesn't block, if runners don't run, if catchers don't catch, if defenses don't stop people, if kickers don't make kicks, you have a tough time winning. And it's been one thing after another for the Chiefs, it seems, in that category of things that have just gone wrong. And in Patrick's case, you're almost asking him to play perfect every time out. And it's just not going to be that way.
Mm.
Yeah. Happy to have you on the show again, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm going back to that 4th and 1. And the momentum clearly to me was on the defensive side of the ball. The Chiefs, okay, your offense stalled out. All right, fine. But to go for it on your own 31, especially when the defense had 4 straight 3-and-outs for the Texans offense coming out in that second half. Chris Jones is playing like a man possessed.
Yep.
He came out swinging in that second half. And it seems as if, I know it's a certain confidence that you have in your offense, but to me, as a head coach and someone who's guiding this entire ship, and you can see the call when Patrick Mahomes gets the call in his headset, the camera shows how irritated he is with these damn shotgun runs. Joe, can you please explain it to me why Andy Reid continues to run the ball out of shotgun, especially in these 4th and 1 situations? The line was playing well last night.
I wish I could explain it. I mean, obviously, in Andy's case, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He's won multiple championships. The way he's done things is the way he's going to do things. And it's a question of execution. They feel like their offense, I guess, can operate out of that particular set very efficiently. And it can most of the time. You're talking about the number 1 defense in football they went up against last night. I'll tell you, when you watch that football game, you could argue who was the best defense on the football field. They were both outstanding and great last night. But, the things that Andy has called before have worked. And last night was one of those things that just didn't.
Well, knowing the incredible success Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have had here in Kansas City, 3 straight Super Bowl wins, or 3 straight Super Bowls, constant playoff runs. How does a season like the one we're seeing happen? What leads to a drop off for a team that's been at the very top for so long?
Melina, I think one of the things that people don't like to acknowledge is this football team has played a lot of football. A lot of football. You go to 4 to 5 Super Bowls. You win, you have a chance of winning 3 in a row. You're playing at least an entire season longer than everybody else in the NFL. It's not like you're playing the same opponent in the Super Bowl every year. Teams are getting knocked out. Teams are coming on. But the Chiefs have been there. And it's not an excuse. It's a fact. You get tired. And 17 games is a lot of football game. 16 is a lot of football games. And I just think that as time moves on, it just wears on you. Your off season is shorter. Your recovery time is shorter. Your mental recovery time is shorter. Now you're getting to a crunch time where there's, you played 14 games. Now you've still got 13 games. You still got 4 to go. Mm-hmm. This is where you really dig down deep. And I certainly would expect from the Chiefs, the effort going forward and the execution going forward will be better than we've seen of late.
And Joe, that's you would like to think so, and that's just kind of something that we've heard for the last several weeks. This team's lost 4 or 5. How many games have been must wins here? Yeah. They rose to the occasion and beat the Colts, and then you got the Cowboys on Thursday or on Thanksgiving Thursday, where you lose that one. Then here it's staring you right in the face. You've got this tiebreaker situation. Travis Kelce's on his podcast saying now we're ready to flip the switch. It just hasn't happened yet. And when you look at the rest of the AFC, the New England Patriots, the Denver Broncos, those teams have gone out and taken care of business all year. So do you feel like there's kind of a changing of the guard going on here in the AFC, or is this kind of a one-off, kind of a crazy season that we're seeing? Probably, maybe no Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, maybe no Patrick Mahomes.
I think there are teams that are getting better. Certainly New England has risen. The Colts now, you don't know what they're going to be like with Daniel Jones out. There's uncertainty there as far as they go. The Houston Texans are storming in. CJ is back. The defense, like I say, it leads them in a big way. So you've got different teams in the AFC that are making a run. I mean, when you're at the top of the mountain, there's people climbing to come and get you. They want to be there. They want to be where you are. And the Chiefs have done that. But I still, I just still can't say no to what the Chiefs could do. Like I said, if they run the table, they could get going. And remember, the offensive line was a shuffled operation again last night. That's sort of been the Achilles heel a little bit over the last few years, is they've lost key people in the offensive line. And if I was to build a football team, that's where I start. I was blessed to have an incredible group of guys called the Hogs. I mean, for years, they were outstanding, allowed us to run the ball, allowed us to do a lot of different things for Doug and Mark and myself. The Philadelphia Eagles a few years back, same thing. Kansas City Chiefs, few years back. The Steelers have always been a team that counts on the offensive line. The Ravens, when they had the offensive line. And to me, one of the biggest areas that's been shuffled on a continuing basis is Kansas City's offensive line.
Yeah.
Well said. And Joe, there's a lot of outside noise. A lot of people are excited. Other NFL teams, all 31 other fan bases are excited to say that now that the Chiefs don't have the refs on their side, now we see what kind of team they really are. And they say the dynasty's over. One down year, it's finally over. It's vanquished. We can be done with them and let the new people rise. They also say Tom Brady never lost or never didn't make the playoffs in his prime. And here's Mahomes. So the GOAT conversation's over. Brady has it. What do you make of all this noise from the outside?
I think it's noise. That's all it is. And as a player, you just have to, you have to just close your ears, go about your job, do the things that you need to do to be able to win football games. How do you get better as a player? This is the question you have to ask yourself. How do I get better every day when I go to practice, when I play in a game? What can I do better? Do I need to focus more? Do I need to concentrate more? Do I need to stay after practice and work on a few things to make me better, to give our team a chance to be able to win? Because everybody is interdependent on one another. It's broken. Football teams are broken down to 3 separate units: offense, defense, and special teams. So, you've got all 3 of those units that have to cooperate and work together. And, it's the craziest thing in the world, but you need kickers to make kicks. I mean, that's what? Third of the games decided by 3 points or less in this league today. That's how close it is and the parity that's there. But I think, every person needs to take a long, hard look. You can't sit on your laurels. This is a what have you done for me business, not what you did for me before.
Joe, you've been involved in so many great teams with Washington back in the day, and when the window is either open or when it's closed or closing. And last night just seemed like poetic justice for what the rest of the league has been hoping for the Chiefs. I don't know, man. Did that look familiar to you? Kind of look how Kelsey was looking at the end, kind of how we couldn't make any fourth down, conversions. Is that window kind of shutting on this variation of the Chiefs, you think?
It's one game. We've seen it over the last couple games. They just, they haven't performed to the level of expectation that I think all of us expected and all of us have seen. And what the reason is, I just don't know. That's for each player to decide what reason they were. I can tell you Chris Jones continues to be an absolute beast. Spags does an incredible job with that defense, getting them in position to make plays. I mean, there were guys knocking each other out on that football game all the way around on both sides. When you see things like this happen, you really fight, like what you're talking about is it finally coming to an end? Is this run over for us? You can't even, that's the noise you want to keep out. That is the noise you don't want to hear. And you don't want to hear it in the locker room. And I guarantee in Andy's locker room, you're not going to. With the leadership on that football team, I don't believe you're going to hear that either. I think these guys, are going to coin the phrase, they're going to put their nose to the grindstone and they're going to start grinding away and, they'll come back. They're not done winning football games. Is it going to be enough in the end? Time will only tell that. But I don't think they're finished winning football games.
Joe, you've been in a Hallmark movie, Love on the Sidelines. How was that experience? I have to change the subject. Let's talk about something fun, guys. This is
Thanks,
a hard game.
Too sad.
I loved it. As a matter of fact, we filmed actually in Vancouver, British Columbia. The first one I did was Love on the Sidelines. Then I did another one called Snow Coming. Actually, Eddie Marinero was in that one with me as well. But it was, I got to play, I guess I got typecast. I was a father of a kid that broke his leg. I mean, what else could it be, right? But It was a great experience. We shoot those in 15 days.
Yeah.
They pump out 100 movies a year. I mean, Hallmark is one of those great stations where when you put it on, if you're having a tough day, you pop your feet up, you put a Hallmark movie on, and at the end of that movie, you feel better.
All of Kansas City must be watching Hallmark movies right now because we all need a good Hallmark movie. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh gosh. I'm hearing so much about the Grinch, but it's not A Christmas Story.
The
Yeah,
Grinch is a good one,
classic.
though.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's it's such a wonderful time of year that we celebrate a birth, and we celebrate the family and the opportunity to give. And this is something I think people appreciate, not to receive something, but the greatest things that we can do is to be able to give things, give your time, give someone who in need, sit down with them if they need to talk, listen. So this is a gift giving time, but for us as people, it's to give one another. It's a very tumultuous year in so many aspects and in so many ways away from the world of sports. This is time where people really need to look at one another and say, I'm here for you. I'm your friend. If you need something, let me know. And put an arm around somebody, help somebody into a chair, help somebody across the street, help somebody carry groceries, go shopping for someone that may not be able to get to the grocery store. Do those little things. I promise you, your heart will be warmed so much more than anything you could possibly receive.
Amen.
Wow, Joe, that was amazing. And I don't know how to transition out of that because I've got a very serious question now. we're missing all the beats here, but I'll tell you this. You're Notre Dame Fighting Irish, left out of the college football playoff. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then the opting out of the bowl game. Are you okay with that? Are you not so much on that side? What do you think about that whole thing?
I'll answer your second question first. Opting out of the bowl game, Marcus made the decision and the team did, and I support them 100%. They had their reasons. I totally support what Marcus Freeman does and his football team and Pete Bavacqua and the administration and everybody at the University of Notre Dame. Whatever decision they made, I'm 100% behind it. As far as the college football playoffs go, I don't know if we have enough time on the show to be able to go in the direction. But there's a couple of things. First of all, how can you be ranked above someone all year, and right at the end, they flip you out? How can you lose 3 football games and still be in?
Mm-hmm.
They want to go head to head with Miami. Well, Alabama lost to Florida State in the first game of the season. We lost to Miami. Where's Florida State now? I mean, Mike had a tough year down there, a tough year, but yet they beat Alabama. And oh, by the way, did they lose to Oklahoma? And I don't know if anybody watched the SEC championship game, but that was if they don't want to play, if they say if Alabama didn't get into the playoffs, they probably may as well not wind up having the playoffs. I don't think they want to go back and go through that again. But I mean, and this is not, it's not Alabama's fault. It's not Miami's fault. There's a committee of 12 that sat down and discussed a lot, it seems like. And I think they erred tremendously when it comes to the University of Notre Dame not being in the college playoffs. We lost to Texas Tech. We lost by a total of 4 points. Miami and Texas Tech at the beginning of the year. And we run the table in unbelievable fashion. This was a team, I believe, on par with Indiana, on par with Ohio State, on par with Texas Tech. We were that good. Our young freshman quarterback continued to grow and grow and grow and get better and better and better. I think that this committee made a huge mistake by not including the University of Notre Dame in the college football playoffs. And I know it's water under the bridge now, but we're looking at the college landscape right now with portals, with coaches leaving, with NILs. It's not collegiate athletics. It's professional ball at every level.
And do we really need James Madison and Tulane in there as well?
If the way the system is set up, if they earn the right to be there, good for them. The system is broken. It needs to be fixed. Why don't you do this to make life? I love simple things. I'm a big, simple guy. Okay. If you are in the top 12 at the end of the year, you're in. You've played all year. You've played all year to get to a position where you're in. Evidently, people felt that Notre Dame was in the top 12 for a number of weeks. They felt Miami was outside for a period of time. And then all of a sudden, in the last minute, they decide they want to flip it. And you put a 3-loss team in. Like I said, it's not Alabama's fault. They did what they could do or what they did, and somebody else made a decision for them.
Mm.
So they're in. But I really feel like it's just downright wrong. It's wrong. It's because, and if I wasn't a Notre Dame grad, I would feel the same way about the University of Notre Dame not being in the college football playoffs. Now, you might say, yeah, Joe, but you are. Yes, I am, and a very proud one. But the fact of the matter is, these guys earn the right to be there. They won more football games than a particular team that's in it than they did. And to me, it's about winning. It's not about whether it's a conference championship. And, just because you win a conference championship, you automatically get in. I'm sorry. That just doesn't sit real comfortably with me.
Well said.
Well, we agree, Joe. Clint and I have talked about it a lot. We would also put Notre Dame. We miss Notre Dame not being in there. And I mean, like you said, Clint and I didn't go to Notre Dame. We took a semester at Holy Cross and flunked out. We copied off Rudy's paper, and we didn't make it through a semester. But
we used to right across the lake. We used to stay at St. Joe, right next to Holy Cross. When we a night before games, it was really funny. My room faced the campus, and it faced the lake. And at night, when I was in my room, on a Friday night before a game, I could hear and see everything going on campus. And we just sat in our room and got ready to go play football.
Joe, I got to kind of switch here. We're going to Washington. There's a new stadium that's coming.
Yep.
Donald Trump says he wants the stadium to be named after him. So I got to get your thoughts on Donald J. Trump Stadium, and then my proposal for Joe Theismann Stadium.
I like that.
Again, I'll answer the second one is a no-go. Okay. And President Trump is our president. And whatever Josh Harris, our ownership, decides, that's up to them. Whatever happens is going to happen, and we'll just, I'll go there. I'll attend the games just like I always have, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I want to know who you like in the NFC. I think the Rams. I've always picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl from that conference. Who are you liking?
I agree with you. I think the Rams, even though they stubbed their toe a couple of weeks ago, they came out with a vengeance. I think they're a very complete football team. Sean's a heck of a football coach. And Matthew has a really great shot. And, Josh has had these moments where it's like he's Superman. Then all of a sudden, things don't go that well. The Rams have been pretty consistent, and Matthew certainly put on a heck of a display. And Puka's unbelievable. I mean, and defensively, we know that they're going to be good. I do look at the Rams. I think, the Eagles, you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know if they're going to catch fire. You don't know if they're going to, have more things going on in their football team that create issues and problems. I think that's a football team that certainly, you could wind up having to reckon with. So, yeah, but I'm sort of looking at the Rams.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Right. Joe, you spent so many years as one of the most recognizable broadcasters in the sport. How do you feel about the current era of NFL broadcast? And do you have a favorite crew right now?
It's, I love to listen to everybody. The game is a different game. We used to have real disciplines when we broadcast. Mike Patrick, Paul McGuire, and myself, and then I work with Tony Kornheiser and Mike Tirico. And Mike Tirico is so unbelievable. If you asked him to say, look, you're broadcasting the Rams Giant game on Sunday night. I need you to do a Tiddlywinks contest on Tuesday. You would think Mike was a Tiddlywinks aficionado by the time he got there. I mean, he's such an incredible student and an unbelievable guy. So I was blessed to work with great directors, great producers, and great people. But back when I was in broadcasting, most people huddled. So you had a chance to be able to say what you wanted to say, and we had a sort of a standard. When they broke the huddle, it was time for me to be quiet and Paul to be quiet and Mike Patrick to do what he was supposed to do. Basically, tell us down, distance, everything else that goes on. So we had those disciplines. It's more difficult today with the gun because everybody runs everything so quick. And I think when you listen to announcers, what can you say very succinctly? What can you say that's impactful? And get out so the fan can watch the game, because they're really not there to listen to you. They're there to watch the football game. And so those are the things that I look at. And, I have different guys I enjoy. Joe and Troy are good friends, and, Mike and Chris are good friends as well. And, I just listen to a lot of different guys. Tom is sort of new to the business a little bit as far as getting himself, feel his way. I just think that there are different guys that bring different things to the table, and you can learn from each of them.
Well, we all learned so much from you, Joe, from your time. We've talked about it so many times, you being on here, about that Sunday night crew. I was just watching a game from 1994, Chiefs Raiders, where you were on the call. And what I miss about broadcasting is it was exemplified in that, which was you just eviscerating the Raiders it was just a personal foul penalty. It cost them. Chiefs win the game, and you just went off. And I miss that, like, where announcers felt free to be able to do that. And I felt like I learned a lot. I was a part of it, and that we could all just be fans out there. I miss that in broadcasting a lot.
Well, the thing is you never want to criticize the guys, because you know how hard it is to do what they do. I mean, it's tough. It's tough being out on that field. It's, human error certainly plays into certain things, but you also have to play with intelligence, like guys spitting on one another, guys bumping helmets. If you bump somebody's helmet, you're going to get 15. You're going to hurt your football team. The object is to be on the field to win football games, to help your football team win, not lose. And sometimes, emotions run high. It's an emotional game. Heck, if you're not emotional about this game, you shouldn't be playing it. But there are certain things that happen, and it's like that's not right. It's not the right thing to do. Wrong timing, wrong time, wrong place. But like I said, I just enjoy so many different telecasts. I love watching college ball. I love watching pro ball. I love watching the CFL when I get a chance to watch that, because I spent 3 years in Toronto and loved it up there. So if it's a football, or it looks like a football, I even watch rugby because it sort of looks like a football.
That is fair. Joe, I cannot thank you enough. If we don't talk, Merry Christmas to you. And I feel like that all you talked about, giving and giving time, you giving us time today to sit and talk with us, maybe will help us through this holiday season, as we're having a little rough, at least as far as Chiefs fans go this year. Thank you so much again, sir, for being a part of our show.
Thanks for bringing up the movie. Thanks for bringing up the movie. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, thank you for being on.
Thanks so much.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Always an honor, my friend. Talk soon.
That was the great Joe Theismann, and I'm so glad that we had Joe on early. Bill Maas is going to be joining us here. We're going to get really into the weeds, kind of on this loss, where the season's at. We got into some of it there with Joe, who is it safe to say Joe's a little more upbeat and positive about the Chiefs right now than I think maybe any of us here, and we may be going right into that with Bill Maas here, who joins us right now. From Joe Theismann to Bill Maas, welcome to the show, Bill. How are you doing, sir?
Noah, how we doing, man? How's Joe doing?
Well, he's a little more positive about the Chiefs right now than we are, I think.
Yeah. What did you think about Notre Dame?
He was not as positive about that.
Very frustrated, not understanding how Miami jumped them when they were ahead of them, not understanding why JMU and Tulane, because the rules are in, they were top 12 all year. He just didn't get it.
What do you think about I wasn't listening before. I just got back. And what did he think about Notre Dame saying like no to a bowl game?
He was supportive of that. He supported that because he said that the team voted on it. And that's, so he had the support of that. I was surprised.
So
I thought
the inmates are running the prison now. Is that it?
That's college athletics in a nutshell, is it? I guess, right?
NIL. That's the world we live in right now. That's it. To me, that's so crazy that they're doing this. I just no. Is that her? Is that what?
Hi, Bill.
Oh my gosh, we go way back. What are you doing, girl?
How are you? It was
Good.
a big day for you yesterday. We saw you on the drum on TV, right? We were watching the game. Ring of Honor. What else? You've got the drum deck, the Ring of Honor induction. Talk about last night and what that meant to you.
You know, it was really surreal. So many things come to mind. Like, first of all, I remember sitting in my parents' bedroom watching the TV and watching the Chiefs play in like '75 with Len Dawson and Buck Buchanan, Bobby Bell, all the guys, right? And then when I was in the same house when I got drafted. So a lot of memories came back, and my father wanted to know, like, well, where are you? Where are you going? Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri. We didn't know I was in Philadelphia, and we came out here and became a part of the community, the team, the franchise, and it's just been great. I've known every single one of the players on that wall except for Joe Delaney, and who died way too early, of course, and Mac Lee Hill. And I didn't get to know those guys, but I met and have hung out and have friendships with everybody else that is on that ring. So it was really special. I thought about it since May, since Clark called me, and but when they dropped that veil, it was really touching. So pretty neat.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man, glad to have you on the show, Bill. Last night, Chris Jones' performance, and you're a D-line aficionado, so I have to ask you about this. It makes me wonder, like, he was playing like a man possessed in that second half, man. And he's shown the ability to take over a game, and he's done that in the playoffs too. But it just gets me wondering, like, how come we can't see this every single game? I know it takes a lot and things are on the line and all of that, and our playoffs are on the line or whatever, but it's like that's what's most frustrating about this team, is like all of these players have the ability to show up and take over games like how Chris Jones did. But specifically on the D-line, how come we haven't seen that intensity from all of those guys throughout the entire year?
Fair question. Really fair question. And I think that this isn't a watered down version of anything that's just here in Kansas City. I think you could look at that across the league and say the same thing. Third and long, when third and long is there, or second and long, guys, it's a different aspect. There's incentives. There's a lot of money on the line. There's different deals that go on that changes your mindset from going 110 miles an hour on every single play back in the day, because we just played. All these other things weren't in effect. They weren't in line. It wasn't, and you get upset too. And I can see Chris Jones being upset, and I can understand his reason for being upset, because I played that position inside. It's a very demanding position. You have a short window of time, 3 or 4 or 5 years maybe, for greatness, where you can dominate, right? But the demand it takes on your body, you'll be done in a short time. I go back through the history of nose tackles and defensive tackles forever. John Randall to Joe Green, Warren Sapp, in between, everybody in between. There's a million of them. They're so good. But that position, you have to engage every play. You have to get hit every play from 2 or 3 helmets. You have to shed, run, and then collision with the ball, the tackler, the running back, or the quarterback, or whoever it is. I mean, that's a lot of work. Not like a free safety back there, okay? It's a lot of demand on your body. So what they're asking of him to do, and he's saying, like, guys, and this is the nuts and bolts of it. Whoever gets the one-on-one draw, 5-on-4. There's 5-on-4, unless they keep other people in. But normally, just straight up 5-on-4. Whoever gets a one-on-one win, somebody's got to win. You have to get to the quarterback, and if you don't, you're not doing your job. Period. And these guys are getting paid a lot of money next to them that aren't getting the job done. And so he's like, you're going to do this to me? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Go through the motions, So I understand that, the frustration, because at his point in his career, he's like, if these guys aren't going to do it, why should I go do that? And so I can understand that. So that doesn't bother me. But something got to them all last night. That whole defensive line balled out. They went after that offensive line like banshees. And I would like to see that every single time, but I can understand the other side of it too.
Yeah, I think we saw in training camp Chris Jones yelling at George Karlaftis, like, I haven't seen you get 15 sacks, so come to me when you do that.
Double digits, not 15, double digits.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's only got 10.5 once, and then it's been like 6, 5 this year, 6 right now. But we hadn't gotten a chance to talk to you about early in the season. Chris Jones kind of took an inside move against the Chargers, allowed Justin Herbert to go around, seal the game. Then the Jags game, Chris Jones was seen just standing there, thought the play was over. I just kind of want to get your thoughts on those two. So you have to gamble sometimes. Everything's a gamble, right? When you're playing there, you study all the percentages of down and distance, yard marker, hash marks, formations, tendencies, what they're doing, motion, and going into the game, if you study it, I studied the hell out of it. That was my angle. I understood. I would watch till the last second of the snap, and I knew what was coming. I knew the play that was coming, right? So if you play those percentages, there's a gamble part in some of it. 65, 70%, they're going to do this, they're going to run here, but they could play action off of it to something else. You had to play those percentages and understand it. But there was always keys in between those percentages that I would see. Stances, gaps between linemen, tight ends, running backs, depth of the running backs, where they're going to be, how far they're going to be back. So it was a gamble, but you took those chances and gambled. I think what Chris did was a gamble, but it wasn't thought out to that level. I think he said, he has his choice on those downs. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Maybe, I'm sure you do. That he has his choice on those downs to pick up who he's going to line up over. And he tries to pick the weak link and get a one-on-one matchup. And so in time that they can't slide protection to him or chip on him or have a tight end over him, or they don't know where he's going to line up. I think he chose that, and he saw something he thought he could get, and he just didn't get there. And it's tough. It was frustrating, especially on the Chargers game. That was a tough deal. But it cost him, because the number one thing you have to do, the number one responsibility when you are the 5 technique on the edge of the tackle, the number one responsibility is you have containment. Nothing gets outside of you. So when you ducked inside, it's okay if you duck inside, like Art Still did it, Mike Bell did it. They were like, whoop, ole, bye. And they'd be inside, but they'd still be able to contain or run a flat line to get to contained to the sidelines. He lost containment. When you lose containment, I think that's why they got upset.
Well, Bill, we knew going in the Texans defense was one of the most feared in the league. You knew that the Chiefs offensive line was going to be patchwork, and it became even more patchwork one play into the football game. But as you look at the offense, there seemed to be opportunities to move the ball, opportunities to score. What do you kind of attribute more the fact that this offense did not succeed in the pivotal moments last night? Mahomes underthrew a deep ball to Hollywood Brown. He had certainly not his best game as a Chief, under 50% completion percentage, the 3 interceptions. And then you had drops. We saw that all night too. 8 drops on the day. Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, a pivotal one, and Rashee Rice as well. So what do you kind of see from this offense last night that kind of cost the game there?
I just think like sometimes you have it and sometimes you don't. Like right before the halftime field goal, doink. It's just one of those years. The drop passes, we don't have an explanation for all the drop passes. It's just one of those years. And look, right? I mean, the run we've been on, hell, if we got a year like this, we can live with it. We'll be okay. It's just how they go about it from here on, and what they want to do and what they want to strive to do. It's not going to be about trying to get the 7th seed. It's not. It's going to be about right now. They're figuring out we have to reevaluate everything from top to bottom. Our mentality, our coaching staff, our play calling, our scouting department, all of it, right? We've missed on a lot of high round guys we kind of pushed them along, but we actually missed on them when you're drafting 31 and 32. And that's just it. And when you can't get some guys and build depth, it's difficult in today's day and age. Listen, training camps cut down. There's no pads. Practices are cut down. There's 2 hours a day. It has to be filmed and turned in per the collective bargaining agreement. NIL is shit to come. I'm sorry, but the shit that's coming out of college.
Let it fly. Let it fly.
The shit that's coming out of college now with the NIL situation. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? I mean, you can't tell. If you yell at a kid, he's like, portal, bye. I'm going someplace else, or someone's going to pay me money. You can't get the best out of a player until they fix that whole thing. It's just going to be a crapshoot when you're drafting, because you're not going to be sure what you get. We're in a weird time right now with where the college NIL deal is, and these players want to come out early. These players that are prima donnas, the players that don't know how to work, they don't have work ethic, and they don't have. I'm not being an old school like dad or an old school man or an old. I'm just saying, like, to do the things you have to do to play that game the way it's played, it takes exceptional discipline and training. And if you take away the training part of it, your product is going to be diminished. And that's it in a nutshell. And that's what we're seeing more and more. You'll see flurries of greatness on teams that drafted early because they were terrible and are playing last place schedules. And you're like, oh gosh, this quarterback's going to be great. And they're playing all these last place teams, right? And then the second year, I'll take Atlanta, for example. Everybody jumped on board with Atlanta, right? This is going to be great. No, second year, there goes, right down the tank.
Washington.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah. So Jaden Daniels, yes, this is it. Boom, gone. So if you don't have that early development of players and rooting out that you're not in control, guys, we're in control. Right now, they got the hammer, and they're swinging it. And if they make money in college, and that's great. I mean, good for them. I wish I was playing in this day and age. I probably wouldn't have had to play pro, but it is what it is right now. But that's the nuts and bolts of the whole deal, right? That's where we're at.
Yeah.
I've interviewed a lot of guys at the NFL who said, every play can be like a car accident. Do you think that the Chiefs are just physically exhausted, mentally exhausted? Is it a combination? Like, what's going on?
Great question, Mel. Great question. I mean, yes, and yes. So when you play that long, the same guys and the salary cap, factor in all that stuff. I mean, where they're drafting, they missed on draft choices. Factor all that in. Yeah, if they were able to hit on some of those first and second rounders that were really strong players, would have been a different situation. But they didn't. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Felix, those guys. I mean, if they were able to hit on those, if Felix was a Derek Thomas and Neil Smith and Art Still, we're good, right? But yeah, so the 4 more games every year, 4 to 5 more games every year. The demand, the toll it takes, the salary cap, where you have to manage that thing, man. It's tough. And you got your quarterback, and he's willing to do a lot of things and change all the time and accept different challenges to make the team better. But it's still the salary cap. You have to hit it. And if you have to replace players that you lost that were quality players, and you don't hit on it in whatever fashion you're spending your money in, if you don't get it right, then you're going to be where we're at right now, which is that, Mel, 6, 7.
Oh God.
I have an 8-year-old son, please.
Bill,
Right?
It's still a day in my house.
that was the main reason I didn't want to lose the game last night. I didn't want to be 6-7.
6, 7.
Well, I'm going to jump you, Brian. I'll get you next. But Bill talked about the salary cap, and that's what I wanted to go to. Just with George Karlaftis, would you have paid him if you were the GM, if you were Brett Veach in the offseason last year, looking at his production, looking at what you could possibly get in the future? If you don't, what are you going to do at defensive end then if you lose a George Karlaftis and then your defensive line's really struggling, but you got to look forward to the future? You got McDuffie, Jalen Watts, you got a lot of money coming up and not a lot of money to spend.
That's a great question, too. Prior to this year, I mean, to me, he's trying harder this year than I've ever seen. And George is George. He's a workaholic. He's gritty. He's tough. He's not going to back down to anything. He's going to take on every challenge he has. We've had discussions, alumni guys to get together and what do you think, whatever. But where he's at and what he's done, the argument that him and Chris Jones got into, right? You got to know that there's something there. There's something to what that statement was said. Hey, don't talk to me till you start getting doubles, okay? You're the edge rusher. I'm in here getting pounded by 3 guys. I saw Chris Jones the other night, and he had center, guard, and tackle hit him in one thing, and he's throwing, blowing, and I'm like, damn, man, I know what you're going through, dude. I respect the hell out of you. And you're on the edge, yay, running around the corner, that's great. I love your speed. I love your athleticism. I love all that stuff. But damn it, get there. If you're not going to get there, don't give me all your other BS.
Well said.
Well, I want to stay on that line, but rather on the offensive line. And it brings up a question for this coaching staff and their eye for talent and evaluating talent. Esapole got in at left tackle, and Daniil Hunter I think he only had 2 pressures on Patrick Mahomes the whole night, and Esapole came in and filled in nicely. I have never seen Wanye Morris in his, 2 or 3 years of playing for the Chiefs ever play that well. And it brings to me a question of, why didn't they see this before? Why was Wanye Morris always the backup left tackle and not Esapole? And it's you can look up and down the roster. There are several positions like that on this team. But is that fair to come into question with that?
I'm going to tell you something, Brian. You're pretty astute. So my understanding was, this was this guy's first snap ever in an NFL game. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw him and I watched when I saw Wanya go out, I go, you got to be freaking kidding me, right? And so I watched this dude come in. I loved his size. I loved his body shape, the long arms, the thick hips where you can sink your anchor. I'm sitting there going, and then I saw his footwork, and I'm going, wait a minute here. Why wasn't he playing before? And Brian, I'm telling you, you saw the same thing I saw, and maybe I haven't seen enough. But the guys he was going against, one-on-one on the outside, I was like, damn, man, you guys, you have somebody there. And I don't know. I can't answer the rest of the question for you because I'm not there in the scouting department. I'm not there in the coaching deal, seeing everything, every rep, every play. Maybe there's something about him, the personality-wise or whatever reason. They have to like just take baby steps to get him there. But he was forced in and had to play. I think they might have something there.
Not only that, but you saw Noah Williams come in for Trent McDuffie, and he played great, and he's struggled to get on the field. You see Brett Veach in the offseason, they released Mike Pennell, trade a 6th-round pick to the Jets for Derek Nottie, who's ranked maybe the worst defensive tackle in the NFL. Then they bring back Mike Pennell. Like, what's going on there? It's a little confusing.
Yeah, I can't answer those questions for you. I'm not in there. I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is. I think just from sitting outside of the box, I think it might be more about cohesiveness within a locker room. And because I know that Andy's big on the guys. Everybody wants to know the guys, and they want everyone to be copacetic, right? So I can't answer that question. So I don't know that. But look, if you listen to anything I talked about on radio or podcasts about the Chiefs, anything I've ever said before, I went into training camp and they said, what are your needs? They said running back, left tackle. Everybody was talking about the offensive line, blah, blah, blah. I said, we need an edge rusher. We need an edge rusher. If you don't have an edge rusher, if you don't get an edge rusher, if you don't find an edge rusher, you're not going to be able to get there with four down linemen, I mean. And when you can't get there with 4, which Spags has always found a way with, even if it took him through the course of the season to develop some young guys, he found a way to get there with 4. If you can't get there with 4 and you've had to lose some key guys in your secondary, I mean, you leverage everything. I knew their offense could do some things, have some damage, with the 3 wide receivers and Kelsey, but if you can't get there, it's going to affect you in the long run. And the defense is what we all talk about, the offense, because it's so glorious to see, and Patrick and everything he's able to do. But if you can't stop them, you're done. And right now we can't stop them. Like, we can't line up and just stop them. And that's a hard thing. They showed up last night. It was great to see that. Now, you guys know that Houston has an alien offensive line too. And that was a big part of the deal. And those guys really played hard to help the offense out, because the offense is in such dire straits. But end of the day, I'm not sure what you do the rest of the season.
Bill, it's been such a pleasure. Last thing before we cut you loose here, and we had Tim Grunhard on last week, and we were talking about, seasons that in Chiefs history that kind of remind you of this one. 1 in 6 and 1-score games last night. Technically not a 1-score game, lost 20-10, but we kind of went back to, and I know that you were not playing any longer in 1996, but after the year with Steve Bono, the 13-3, lost to the Colts in the first round. That team was picked by every pundit to go to the Super Bowl. Of course, we're kind of in the middle of a dynasty here, just went to 3 straight Super Bowls here. And it just seemed like from the word go, everything that had went right, like it did in 1995, which was James Hasty and Mark Collins, late touchdowns, Tamarick Vanover with a punt return. That was kind of like last year to me. And then now fast forward here, it just reminds me of 96, where we went 9-7, missed the playoffs, and people are like, what in the hell just happened? Is that jive with you at all?
No, I get it. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's just one of those years. I don't know. Look, I'm not like one of those astronomy dudes, but I'm on, social media, so I know that we had 3 or 4 super moons this year.
Oh man.
Maybe the moons are just screwed. I don't know. Because everything was going so well for us for the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know. Maybe the super moons aren't our deal.
We back to the Super Bowl. Forget about the super moons,
No,
Yeah.
3 super moons in a row means no 3 Super Bowls in a row. I don't know. That's too much for me to comprehend. Maybe the tides.
Take it in. Suck it in. Think about it.
I have one uniform question, Clint, real quick.
Go ahead.
Did Willie Lanier ever give you crap about wearing 63?
No, but I will tell you a little funny story about that real quick. So I just got back from, I think he went in 86, I think, or 87. He went into the NFL Hall of Fame. And I just got back from Hawaii. I'm back-to-back NFL Rookie of the Year, back-to-back Pro Bowls, first team All NFL. And the phone rings, the old phone, the one you had to pick up off the wall. And I said, hello. It says, this is Lamar Hunt. I said, who? Lamar Hunt. I said, Lamar. I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I just want to tell you that you will be the last person to ever wear number 63. I'm like, shit, you're retiring my number? And he said, no, Willie Lanier is going in the Hall of Fame.
That is awesome. I love that. Huge fan of his, and that just what a technically proficient player. I love all the tape from that era. So Bill, great stuff as always, man. Thanks so much for joining us and helping us go into the weeds on this. Congratulations once again. Chiefs of Honor, Bill Maas. You deserve it, my friend. I hope the loss last night did not taint your enjoyment of the festivities, my friend.
No, not at all. And I'll tell you what, though, Willie calls me all the time too. We always said, "Hey, 63, hey, 63." That's how we communicate. So it's pretty cool.
I love it.
Good luck. Thanks so much, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Be
Bill.
good, guys.
It's an honor. Happy holidays, my friend.
You too.
Woo. He's great. I love that guy. He's just fun, nice. What great guests you guys booked tonight.
Well, Milena, this is why we like to have 2 guests on. That leads us less time to feed into our own emotions and to say something that, I'm going to regret over time. This is perfect. We get great guests in here talking football and going into the weeds. That's what I love. So that's perfect.
Well, listen, I mean, this season has not gone the way any of us thought it would be going, especially at this late in the game. But here we are. So I want to get you guys' last thoughts before we close out here. Brian, let's start with you.
Man, my last one, I feel like I'm just getting started. I just look, he said it right. It is just one of those years, man, because it's just it's so many things. It's the drop passes, it's the bad coaching decisions, it's the play calling, it's the penalties, it's the no run scheme, it's the bad throws, the missed blocks, allowing third and long conversions, can't force turnovers, doink field goals, missed opportunities up and down this season. And you know what? I you can't point the finger at any one person. It's been a total team effort from start to bottom, from top to bottom, rather, from Andy Reid to Mahomes to Kelsey to Chris Jones, Bucker. Everybody has played a role, and where the Chiefs are right now, man. And we've been expecting this team to just press a button and turn it on when the Chiefs are no longer in that position where it's not like that no more, especially with the Chiefs coming back to the pack and the AFC coming, and surpassing the Chiefs this year. We just got to call it what it is, man.
Yeah.
The AFC has came and surpassed the Chiefs this year. Yes, they could still get in the playoffs, but like for what, man? It's mock season time in Kansas City, mock draft season.
Noah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we heard Bill Maas there say that Andy Reid just likes his guys. He wants familiarity. He wants a kumbaya atmosphere. Everyone knows each other. But is that the best thing? Because we had Bob Sutton. I'm hoping maybe this season is our 2018 AFC Championship loss where they couldn't do it anymore. Andy Reid couldn't say, I'm bringing back Bob Sutton, so we fired him and brought in Spags. Hopefully he looks at this coaching staff and cuts it down and says, I can't do it anymore. We've just missed the playoffs. I'm being questioned. The players are being questioned. The organization, our dynasty, everything we've built is being questioned. I got to go out here. I got to get some fresh eyes because obviously I'm not seeing it well. People are calling out my play calling, my fourth down decisions. I took responsibility for that fourth down decision. But hopefully there's some silver lining here because the playoffs, Brian, there's still a chance.
Yeah.
This is convoluted. The Chiefs have to win out. That's the hardest part of the entire. The Chiefs having to win out is the toughest part of this whole scenario. The Chargers either have to lose 3 of their next 5, with one of them being the Broncos, who could be sitting starters because it's the last week of the season. And if they are going to beat the Broncos because they're sitting starters, then they have to lose the next 4 games in a row. The Colts are probably going to fall off. They have really hard games. They both have hard schedules, so it leads to potential looking at it like, hey, there's a chance. But
and the weird thing is, it could happen. It's not like it's impossible. This thing could still happen. This team could go to the playoffs. But it's like they get in and they go to Denver. Are they going to let Bo Nix convert another 3rd and 15? Is Rashee Rice going to miss another crucial 4th down drop? Are we going to get another out the ass penalty from these refs that happened early in the game that stopped the momentum? I don't know, man. I'm honestly looking forward to a longer offseason so the guys can actually reset and so we can have a legit 1st round draft pick this year. Because right now, if the draft started today, the Chiefs are picking 13 or 14. Chiefs haven't had that since Andy Reid was here in his first season in 2013.
That's the silver lining, I would say. Clint, take us out, man.
Well, last week I talked about having a funeral for the Kansas City Chiefs season this week. And to do that, you also have to eulogize
Houston Oilers. What are you doing? Timeout. What are you doing? Oh no! What are we doing? What, Clint? You didn't check this?
Oilers. This is a defunct franchise.
Oh my God! Where's your Cam Ward jersey?
Well, that's coming up.
In the mail. I'm supposed to get it for Christmas, I think.
If we're lucky, they'll beat us too, I guess. No, but look at this. None of us are wearing red. No one on the set is wearing red.
You're in violation. You in violation, dog. How you dare come on this pod and wear another NFL team?
That is
what
is
wrong with
It's
you?
not an NFL team.
Yes,
this
they
has
are.
been an NFL team for a long time.
So the Titans wore those uniforms last year. Stop.
Did they say Houston Oilers on it?
It said Oilers. The logo. We're off the rails. I can't believe it.
Listen, guys. We talked about having this funeral. There is a eulogy to be given for this season. But I think that to do that, you have to properly put into context what this franchise has meant to each and every one of us and what this has been, because you can't slam the door on the casket without paying tribute to what this has been. Is the dynasty over? I don't know that. Are there going to have to be wholesale changes? Yeah, probably. Is this going to look a lot different going forward? I bet it's going to. Noah alluded to a lot of that, but we have to think about the magic, the wonderment, the moments. My life is exponentially better because of the last 7 years of Chiefs football, and I will never forget it. I was going to say my grandkids about it, but probably won't have any of those. I'll be telling my nephews about it someday because that's how much it meant to each and every one of us. And I'm not saying that this is the end. Mahomes is done. This is all over, but it could look a little different going forward. This is kind of the end of a streak of 11 straight playoff appearances, most likely. So we do have to put it into context. We love interacting with each and every one of you. I've gotten a lot of messages the last couple of weeks, very threatening, and let's say in nature. That's okay. I could take it. I'm a big guy. But please don't
picking against the Chiefs.
But don't actually come try to actually physically, because I got nothing. But you could threaten me online all day, but just please don't hurt me is my only thing. Other than that, Chiefs lose to the Chargers, and we just keep this thing going. I can't pick a
I was going
victory.
to say we didn't do predictions, but I'll do a prediction for the whole show. Chiefs find a way to lose.
Yeah.
No, that's not my prediction. The Chiefs are going to win that thing 27-20.
What's no fun?
I can't.
Oh my gosh.
23-21 Chargers. Butker misses a field goal wide left. I don't know.
Wow.
Just some other debacle, any debacle. Pick it, choose it. Milena.
Wow.
Rain coming home. No, I'm going to pick the Chiefs 28-21. And
Good score. Good
all
old
the
school
action's
90s score right there.
and all the action is going to happen in the fourth quarter, like always.
Probably and unfortunately and against us. But hey, we're here. We're riding it out on Arrowhead Allies all through the rest of it. We got 4 games to go. We're going to be here. We're going to take you through it. We're going to take you home, no matter how far that goes. So thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show and support the guests. We try to bring those on because, we feel like that nobody could say it better than the people we bring on here. And we truly believe that. So thank you. We appreciate it. Onward and upward. The sun will come up tomorrow, said Annie.
Clint.
Will, and there's a 16% chance the Chiefs are going to the playoffs. We got Eagles Chargers tonight. Let's go Birds. Fly, Eagles fly. Until next time, go
Chiefs!